Hey everybody, welcome to Janelle Art. We're going to be working on outlines and painting in some of the smaller pebbles. Just going to go for about an hour this morning. So glad to have you on board. Just going to set here. I like to set the chat from top to all messages. You know, when it gets rollicking in here, we do like to see everything that's going on. And then we just set our troll gate up here and we'll get started. So this is the painting we were working on last time. And good morning, Irish Mart. Good to see you. I've added in some outlines on this one. And I used the sepia tone Pigma Micron. I like this. It's just a little bit more subtle than the black. So we worked on this on the last live with some suggestions from the chat. So we had quinacridone gold and also some sleeping ahead, I think, for a second. Good morning, Runic Workshop. Good to see you. Welcome in. Yeah, this paint is made from genuine turquoise that's ground up and made into watercolor paint. So, yeah, it's a very lively, and in chat says a lovely mix of colors. But I just kept taking suggestions, and I think it turned out quite. It's just charming. It's enchanting when there's a big mix of things. It just takes my imagination away, and that's part of why I make these pebble drawings, is just to have something to gaze at for somebody, whoever owns the painting, can just have a look at it and do their mindfulness breathing or whatever it is they like to do. So, oh, awesome. So Irish Mart says the pebbles really stand out, and I'd almost be fooled into thinking that it's 3D. I know, they're coming along. I do kind of, my style is fairly flat, but despite my best efforts to keep it flat, they are making their way into a three-dimensional format. So yeah, so you can get the suggestion of dimension using line, using value, lights and darks. A lot of ways to do that. Using warm colors to bring things forward and cool colors to make other things recede. So this, I was kind of struck by, this painting is one where I've tried to control the color palette a little bit and to try to highlight these three that are painted with the turquoise paint. And then I dropped in the orange. Orange is a complementary color to that turquoise. And then I've been using some purples and grays for that background. I gotta say, when you see them side by side, like, I'm not sure, like, this one took a lot of thinking and pondering, and then this one was just sort of slapped out quickly. And, you know, just, what do you guys think? What next? And that compared to this one, and I'm looking at them and just going, wait a minute, I should just stop thinking so hard and just paint. Get your paper out, get your paint out, and just go ahead and paint. Which is what I think. I was gonna do some outlines, and I think instead I'm just gonna take my own advice and get on with the painting. So I've just got some dots of watercolor paint here that hopefully Maya will be able to join us this morning, and she's sharing some of her colors that were things that I didn't have, and I've got some things prepped, ready to go to get boxed up if I can get my box situations figured out, get myself to the post office box. So hopefully, I'm hoping that you all had a chance to make some art this week. And, you know, if you didn't get a chance to make art, at least to think about it, or maybe buy some art supplies and get your studio sorted out. Here where I live in Oregon, it's looking like spring. I came in from going to get my coffee this morning, and I noticed the hydrangea is leafing out. It's just stopped in my tracks and looked at it. There's all these little green buds on it. Hi, Joe. And I literally like had to blink at it a couple times, and I was like, "What is that doing? It is winter." And no, it's March. It is March. So apparently the plants are doing the plant thing. Hey, Never and Nana. Good to see you this morning. So I've got Tundra Violet here, which is one of the Schminky colors, the super granulating colors. So just dropping in some little blobs in those empty spaces. And oh, that's better. 17 of you out there. I looked up when it first got started and there were 50 people, and I about, that's a lot. That's a lot of people to be talking to before the coffee has gone down the hatch. So, how has your week been, folks? Have you gotten through another one? We got through February, making our way through 2025. So, I'm not being too fussy about this. I'm just using a fairly dilute mix with the paint. Lots of water, not a lot of paint. Joe says, my days are all the same lately. Well, I feel that. Runic. The Runic Workshop says, eat, sleep, paint, or at least plan painting, right? I think I'm gonna spend this weekend tackling the kitchen. It needs a seasonal overhaul, I guess, a spring cleaning. And then once I do that, then are you like me? You get the kitchen all cleaned up, and then I like cooking. I really enjoy it. And there's nothing more inspiring than a clean kitchen. So I'll get everything straightened up, and it's just like get all the dishes up in the cupboard, got everything squared away, get the sink all scrubbed out, it's nice and clean, and then the first thing I want to do is cook something, make a big mess, to to use, you know, just get some major production going with a crock pot, or you know, lots of vegetables to be prepped, spices to grind, and my kitchen tends to stay clean for about 45 seconds. And then it just stack stuff up, and things end up on the end of the counter, and the mail comes, and it gets stacked over there, and the recycling is over here, and boy, I am about out of room here. Shoto, hello. Good to see you. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Irish Smart says it's incredibly frustrating that once one has the place nice and clean, it gets dirty again. It's kind of a waste of time. I don't know, if I had all of my dwelling clean all at the same time, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. Shoto, I have been futzing around and messing around and feeling like I was trying to get my live streams going, and just a little bit caught up in like all of the prep work, so I feel a little bit frustrated. But yeah, and I realized, woke up today and just went, holy cats, it's Friday. I like to stream on like Tuesday late night going into Wednesday, and oh, are we buffering? We might get that a little bit. That's why I usually stream late at night and not so much in the daytime, because we do have that buffering problem. Thanks for letting me know, though. I feel like I'm running out of space. Sometimes when I do the the pebble outlines, it makes a little bit of makes the painting go a little bit easier. So Shoto, how have you been? You've been busy with your channel. Oh, don't be sorry for that. Never be sorry for engaging in creative work. That's pretty important stuff. Yeah. You got copyright, though. Like a copyright strike? What happened there? If you were playing music, sometimes you can get a copyright strike for that. Or if you're not doing original content. So that must be pretty frustrating. Yeah, if you're gonna use other people's Oh, for music. Oh, that's too bad. Well, there are some copyright free musical selections, and if you're on Restream, I know they're included with the paid Restream package, but you can also look online and just search for copyright free music and go with that if you can find it. I know it's kind of fun to listen to popular music or things that are, if I had my way right now, I would be rocking Miles Davis kind of blue because it's Friday. I love that album so much, and I listened to it so much I had to restrict myself. I only get to listen to it on Fridays. Otherwise, I would just play it all the time. I literally had to buy a CD and replace it because you get laser burns in the CD. It's kind of double sided, right? Like we enjoy music so much. It's really, I think, part of an artful life. Like you've got um, well, I'm sorry that I haven't been here. I've just been doing some life stuff and trying to kind of figure out what was going on in this community that I'm a bigger part, a little part in a bigger community, and it just was a little bit heavy on me. And I like to be here in this space with some positivity and some balance. And when I'm pissed off about stuff, I don't really like to live stream when I'm angry and cranked out of shape about stuff because it perpetuates, right? Uh, it gets what's the word I want? Um, like it multiplies and it goes out. So if I'm going to put something out in the world and multiply it, have it um, be perpetuated out there, I'd like to have some positivity and some. I just don't want to put negativity out there. So that's why sometimes when you don't see me for a while, it's because I'm just trying to work some stuff out and either that or just get life stuff done. So it's a bit of a process to kind of find my time slots and my energy and the projects for live streaming. I'm still just really pretty new at this, so we'll figure it out as we go, right? And then about as soon as I figure it out, YouTube will change stuff up, and then I'll have to reconfigure. So, Shoto, it was good to see you. Thanks for the Shoto says, have a good day, everyone. So, yeah, I hope you have a good artful day, and I was glad to see you in. Hey, Dan K. How are you? Lunchtime there in the East Coast for Dan. Yeah, here's our painting from the other night. The picked some colors. Where chat was picking colors, so made some progress on that one. We made it to Friday, Dan. That's something. Got a surprisingly good signal today, so I thought I'd live stream for an hour and get some nice sunlight streaming here into the studio. And that's always nice to be able to work with some natural light. Yeah, I had some thoughts about copyright and copyrighted music, but I think Shoto is off to get their day started. But I would love to be playing music, but I also respect copyright. I respect the work of other artists. I wouldn't want somebody to just photocopy what I had and, you know, make money off of it. And, we need to respect music artists as well. Sometimes when we're restreaming, that means the artist who created that work isn't getting paid. So when we take steps to respect copyright, we are also respecting and honoring other artists, and that's that's never a bad that's never a bad call. Alrighty, checking with the chat. Yeah. Yeah, so artsy fartsy, what have you been up to? And Shadow, I hope that you get through your they give you a little penalty, a little timeout, and I hope you're back and working on your channel pretty quick. It'll pass quickly. Seems like it takes forever, but yeah. Well, anymore, there is quite a bit of music that is copyright free, so or in the public domain, things that are in the public domain, so artists can choose to do that too. And at any rate, that's I get to enjoy the lovely sounds of my air handler in the background and not music. So, yeah. Yeah, so Dan, did you decide, or you're gonna be live? What's your live streaming schedule for tomorrow? I know there was a poll. You've really gotten your channel to take off there, Dan. I hope you're feeling a good sense of satisfaction about that. It's just wonderful to see. And if folks, anybody out there is into skating, Runic Workshop has just been working on some decks that are painting them, and they're just fantastic. Just turning the skateboards into beautiful works of art. I love that kind of stuff. Anything that's kind of utilitarian and also decorative. It's surfboards, don't know any of that kind of art. It's pretty cool. Oh, I got some wobbly lines this morning. Some days the old hand is steadier than other days. I've learned not to freak out about it if something goes a little wobbly because between the paint and the lines, it all works out. Yeah. There you go. Dan says he may pop in early, so just see who pops in. Yeah, you never know. Sometimes it'll get you, a little bit of a different crowd. So, and Runic also gets a rave from Dan K. Runic is a really great guy and an all-around crafter for sure. So, it's a little bit hard to drop links. I mean, we can write down the channel name in here, and I was able to drop a working link when we first started the vertical live streaming, but now we don't seem to be able to. So, for those of you who have channels, if you leave a comment, and for those of you who are watching this on replay, if you check the comments, I would say to Runic Workshop and Dan K, if you guys just leave a short little howdy in the comments afterwards, people can click on it and click through to your channel. So that will help you to let people know how to get to your channels. Always have the best of intentions to drop, not drop links, but to add links to the description or put it in a comment. And it just lately seems like I get finished with the live stream and then there's other stuff going on, and I know I've got a backlog of ones I've got to get back to and give them a listen and get that updated. But the faster way for you to get people directed to your channel is to do that. So a little YouTube tip that you can kind of tap on somebody's name in a comment, and then you can get to their channel, see a lot more information about them. But you can't really do it in the chat in a live stream, so. Hooray for comments. It makes quite a bit of difference just to drop those little lines in. Yeah, Dan K says vertical links seem to only work on when you're on PC, which I don't. I don't even. I had a computer. I used to do tons of stuff on computer, and then after I moved to the place I'm at now, I just never hooked up the computer. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you guys, I've been trying to. I did go through a phase where I was trying to break away from the outlining because it felt like it was more a mixed media technique than a watercolor technique, and I was starting to work on some paintings, and I just have not been satisfied with them. I look at the painting and I just feel like it's just not done. I really seem to be caught into the outlining groove. And I don't know, it's neither good nor bad. It might just be a technical problem I haven't quite resolved. But the idea was also really burdened with this idea that I should do it in just classic watercolor style. And as you see on this pad, I've got the edges taped off, which is a concession to classic watercolor techniques. It has to do with uh, leaving a border around the painting so that when you mat it, you don't have the mat in contact with the painted area, and that way if the painting is damaged, you don't get water soaking through the mat and then coming in contact and causing the paint to, because watercolor can be reactivated with water, so you want to keep the work of art safe. So when you run the thing right to the edge, which is my preference design wise, and I kind of don't care. I mean, they're rocks, right? I don't care if the mat overlaps it or the frame overlaps it a little bit. But just in terms of works of art and following the rules, which are there usually for a pretty good reason, right? And I live in Oregon, which is a wet, kind of humid place. And you don't want the work of art to get water damaged because of a, because you're just running willy-nilly and ignoring all of the rules. I'm not opposed to them, but I also feel like as a mature artist, like, why do I think it's a valid question any artist to ask themselves, like, why am I following the rules? Is this just, it's one thing if you're in school and you've got a professor or an instructor and you've got to, meet those requirements. And if you know why the rules are the rules, but I think it's okay to respect your own creative impulses. And if your creative impulse is outline the rocks with pigment, then, I'm using an acid-free product, I believe. Archival type of a product, and it's more important to be happy in your creative work than it is to follow all of the rules for the sake of following the rules. And there'll be one wise person in that who says, yes, but I like to follow the rules because that's where my joy is. Okay, that's good. That works too. I think with these small works of art, it's gonna really make a huge difference. It's just a piece of paper. I think it's okay to prioritize being happy in the work over very rigid rule following. Alrighty, I think we got all those spaces. Boy, that just comes together so quickly sometimes, doesn't it? Yeah. Hey, Jody Pamani, welcome in. Thank you. Yep, it's already Friday. Dan K says rules are made to be broken. Bad outcome though. Yep, sometimes it is. And if everyone stuck strictly to the rules, nothing new would ever be created. At least that's Dan K's theory, and I think it's a good one. Yeah, they could. Yeah. I was, while I'm busy not live streaming, I'm usually watching this, that, or the other thing. And the rabbit hole I fell down last night in between true crime and shorts from The Crown and Call the Midwife. I love any of the British television, so I'll watch that stuff. I could just mindlessly watch that stuff. And there was somebody who was using a lathe to ordinarily, like, I watch somebody like doing wood turning, right? But this is not wood turning. Whoever this is has taken strips of fabric and then wound them into a roll and then soaked the whole thing in epoxy. And I'm just baffled. And then put this chunk of epoxied fabric strips into the wood lathe and then carved it into a bowl. And I think it may have been one rabbit hole too far. Just a little too far. I want some purple. I want some misty, mysterious purples here. So I'm ratting through my palettes. And we got the blue greens and the earthy colors. Let's see what we got here. I'm just like, that was too many crafts, I think, all just in one. It was like, I was confused. I was like, is this fiber art? Not quite. Is it resin art? Not quite. Is it no, it's not quite woodworking. And we have a few purples over here. Yes, we do. Lunar black. No, too dark. Neutral tint and moon glow. All right. Are those our magic words? Imperial purple, I think, is going to be too purple. We can't go wrong with Daniel Smith's Moon Glow, can we? It'll be alright. I feel like hematite should be in here too. So, the saga of the Daniel Smith paint continues. I finally got an email back from Daniel Smith about that lapis genuine. Dan says I should check out the epoxy and blue jean tables. That those are really interesting. I've seen somebody who makes sunglasses out of resin and denim, and then they stamp the frames out, and those are kind of cool looking. But and then it led me down another rabbit hole, which was what looked like a Persian carpet runner that was encased in resin and then draped up, over, and down for like a coffee table or an occasional table, which was kind of cool. You know which one I want though. I want the one that's got the slices of agate. My grandparents made one of these tables. The tabletop was probably 1.5 inches of resin, and they started with a layer of black resin and then a layer of fish gravel, which in the 1960s was neon, just these crazy colors. And then they laid the Joe Bananas. Alrighty. Is it tilty? I'm trying to wrap up before we get to I want to wrap up by 9:30 because I've got some live streaming friends that anyway, so they were rockhounds, my grandparents. And let's get the paint over into the shot a little bit. And so they collected stuff from all over the place, and including like big chunks of agate. And then my grandfather had a rock saw, and he would slice them and polish them. So the table had all of these slices, big slices of rocks, agates with crystal centers, and just all kinds of cool stuff. And then, of course, in true 1960s fashion, lots and lots of glitter, and then clear resin on top. And it was round and had some mid-century tapered legs, and it was really, really cool. And good morning, Ernest. That's really dark. So this looks really black on the palette, but neutral tint has this sort of just a purplish hue to it. So sadly, one of my... Well, the table went to my aunt, and then it went to one of my cousins who just utterly destroyed it. But there were, you see them every once in a while. You see them in a thrift shop, and I said, "Oh, if I ever see one of those, I'm just gonna nab it." Of course, it would, be the highest order of awesome to have the one that my grandparents made, but I don't think it exists anymore. But it was topped off with this big chunky gold glitter, and like, if it sounds garish and horrible, it sort of was, but also was fantastic. As a little kid, I can just remember like looking at it, and every place you looked, there was a little bit of a different something to see. Just another detail and another little slice of rock. So this looks quite black on the palette, but when you dilute it, it's got a nice. Well, it's almost inky, but it's called neutral tint, and that's a pretty good descriptor for it. So, Ernest, it's been a minute. I've been busy in the evenings, and I haven't stopped in to say hello in Turner's live stream. So I've kind of missed all you guys. It's good to see you today. Oh, yeah. So, Ernest, you remember this? You remember? Yeah, pick that gold, and then this was Ernest was the person who said let's use some of that quinacridone gold in there, and Jessica Lynn. Oh my gosh, you're here for a live stream. Runic Workshop says he painted a chopper last summer with that 1970s big flake and color palette. It's great fun. Oh yeah, it really is. Um, do you watch? I don't know if by any chance you watch Cold War Motors. They did. He bought a Honda. Wasn't a Goldwing. I think it was just like a 450, but a classic 70s Honda motorcycle, and redid it in that Honda Gold with the 70s metal flake. Oh my gosh, it was it was a lot of fun. I know you guys, you're just like, what weird channel is she going to be telling us about today? But I do enjoy some Cold War motors. One, it's Canadian, so we can't go wrong with Canadian. I'll check out chat here. Do, 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 do. Ernest, that's good news. Ernest is still with us. That's a good day. Yeah. Dan says it's Friday. He's above ground. He's doing great. That's a that's a good way to look at it. So yeah, Jessica, I'm just so Jessica always catches me in the comments. She's so great about leaving comments. It's usually just like, hey, I missed your live again because I stream at such bizarre middle of the night hours. So yeah, Dan has to go finish the second half of his day, finish his work week, get back to the day job. All right, thanks for stopping in, Dan K. It's good to see you. It's good. Like I'm always, would say, yeah, I think I would say almost always I am cheered up. Live stream for a little bit, and you guys come in and just kindness and chat and coffee, and I really like that tone with the rest of these. I think I might just go hard with the neutral tint. I also have some Daniel Smith Moonglow mixed up here. Anyway, well, I started that story, so I got an email from the vice president of JJC Industries, which is the manufacturer of Daniel Smith watercolors, apologizing for the production problem with the lapis lazuli watercolor, and offering to send me another tube, so that's awesome. And then, by way of saying sorry for the inconvenience, they wanted to know if there was another color that I liked. They'll send me a second tube of paint. So my brain, of course, is now in overdrive trying to figure out which one I want, and then I hope that they'll have it in stock. So yeah, it's been 6 weeks of trying to get an answer back from them. So I was feeling really frustrated with it. Uh, because it was a color that I had been looking at on the color chart, and it's, of course, it was a Series 5 watercolor. Well, I think this is true with, I don't know if it's true with gouache, but it's oil paints too. Depending on what they're made of, they cost different prices. You know, a tube of white is a different price than a tube of black. You'd think, oh, well, you'd charge by the size, but there's really some substantial differences in the cost to manufacture, and so the companies will give the the paints a different number, and in the Daniel Smith, it's like Series 1 through Series 5. Series 1 are the lowest prices. Series 5 are considerably more. So, hi, Cece. Yeah. What is this nonsense? It's just art. We're just painting fields of pebbles to both as a mindfulness exercise. I try to get into what I'm doing and then push the other thoughts out of my head and just concentrate on what I'm working on as I'm painting. But then once they're completed and dried, they are something, just an object to look at and kind of uh, clear your mind of all of the thinkity thinking. So the lapis, lapis lazuli is very blue material. You may know it from the stripes on the gold King Tut mask. You know, the outside border that's gold and it has these blue stripes. Those they they're meant to be resemble lapis lazuli or lazuli. Blue lapis. It's kind of a dark blue, not quite as dark as midnight blue. It's been prized for jewelry and it's a very hard mineral, so it makes it very durable. Also a little bit challenging to work, but it's got this amazing blue color. So anyway, it being Series 5, I didn't just run out and buy it because a tube of it is about $25. So I kind of had it on the list for a while, and then came my birthday month, and I ordered myself a tube of it, and then the tube ended up being just mostly gum arabic without much pigment in it, and so it's been a bit of an odyssey to get an answer from somebody on why that was, and between the manufacturer and the company I bought it from, it was a bit of a runaround, so yeah. Yeah, so the Runic Workshop says pigment size, pigment density, medium quality, lots of variables in pricing. Yeah, and also just like the raw materials, they cost quite a lot, or quite different prices, right? Some things can be, well, like you've got your iron oxide, right? This stuff. And iron oxide is basically, that's rust, right? It's just rust. So it's, yeah, it's not that costly, and it's very easily found. And then maybe you have something like manganese, which is toxic and difficult to mine and in short supply, and so just lots of variables. And then this blue is Sleeping Beauty turquoise, which is found in the American Southwest and used when it's gem quality. It's used in jewelry, and so that's that's also one of the Series 5 paints. So I think for me, the jury's still out on whether that was a necessary buy. I get pretty close to the turquoise colors using magnesium green and some of the other greens. But it's fun, you know, and I think when it comes time to sell the paintings, also, like people who, you should just imagine somebody who's like, hey, I want to buy a painting of rocks. It's going to be someone who likes rocks, and I think that they'll find it appealing that the paint I'm applying right now is actually made from uh, hematite, so. And that's from the Daniel Smith Primatech line, which are all made out of things like bloodstone and zoisite, and it's all kinds of tiger's eye, garnet, kyanite, sodalite. I think this one doesn't have it, but I used a little bit of genuine amethyst. This purple here is actually made from amethyst, and the camera doesn't pick it up too well, but it's a little bit of a sparkle to it. This is Amazonite. So we got quite a few. Serpentine, I think we got serpentine and a little bit of, used a little bit of jadeite on that one. So actually paintings of rocks made from rocks. Alrighty, folks. So I've got the color choices narrowed down to about 3, and I'd sleep on it. And I woke up this morning with thought I'd settled on the color choice for that second tube, and of course you wake up in the morning and you have a different thought. So I'm sure I'm probably overthinking it. But it's not the worst. It's not the worst thing to occupy your brain with, just thinking about which color you'd like to try next, eh? And I think that's going to bring us to our hour here and wrap us up. Just want to thank everybody for coming in. Thanks for your comments. Thank you for the likes. And I just encourage everybody to take a little bit of time. You get the weekend coming up now, so get your art supplies out. Make a little mess. Yeah, isn't that fun? Yeah, Runic, it was good to have you in here. Good to kind of hang out with people in the morning. And I hope you just will get your day off to a nice artistic start and enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your time. And I will see everybody on the next live stream. Thanks for coming by.